My biggest trial has been cancer that hit me several years ago. So the doctor called me one day after I had some hurting in my abdomen area. I thought I better go get things checked out, and I did. He called me one afternoon at work. I said, "Okay, what you got, Donnie?" He said, "I'm not sure how to tell you this, and I've actually been praying about what to say and how to say this." And I said, "What is it?" He said, "Well, you've got cancer." And I said, "Is it just a spot or two?" He said, "Oh, no, there's several tumors." And I said, "Several? You mean like 2 or 3? He said, "No, I mean like many." And he said, "There's so many that the radiologist couldn't count them." I said, "Donnie, will I make it?" He said, "Danny, you are a person of faith." And he said, "I am a person of faith." And he said, "Because of that," he said, "I'm not going to give you a death sentence." That's the word he used. And I said, "Wow." He said, "I'll tell you this, you got a long road ahead of you."
You know, I've been able to serve God for years, and it's easy to say when you're on the mountaintop and whenever you're in the mundane. You know, God is faithful. He'll be with you no matter what. But it's in that valley when you really realize who He is. Emma and Seth and Shannon were in Guatemala, and that is a third world country. They had a great experience over there doing their study abroad. Shannon had gone over to celebrate his 50th birthday, was on his way up to the pool where Emma and Seth were goofing off, stopped and was witnessing to a gentleman whenever the electricity for the entire resort went out. And it was at that point that he learned that Seth had been electrocuted. And so whenever I was called, not being able to go there and help and having to do things here in order to get them back home, family and friends were there, and that was great. But I knew immediately who I needed to lean into.
There's been days we drive home from Vanderbilt with bad news. We don't speak till we get to Cookville. We can't even speak to each other. Those are hard spots. Oh, but there's somebody with me that walks through those spots with me. Boy, where would I be without the presence of the Lord?
Why is God worthy? Well, first of all, He's God. And if you understand who He is, you know that He's worthy. And I can honestly say, I feel more loved today than I did on July the 18th. And that has nothing to do with God, because He is who He's always been. It has to do with me realizing who He is in the darkest and the deepest sorrow of my entire life. And you can't prepare for that. And you build up to that in your relationship with God. And whenever you have that relationship, it doesn't mean that it's easy. It doesn't mean that faith takes away your pain. It doesn't mean that you don't hurt and that you don't long and you don't wish for one more hug. But it does mean you don't do it alone. And I haven't. And I will grieve every day this side of heaven. But I won't do it by myself. And probably one of the most surprising things was going to church. It was overwhelming. I'd always loved going to church. It had nothing to do with the fact that Seth's service was there. It had everything to do with the fact that I felt so loved by Him. The music, the people.
God is there, thick and thin, on the mountains, in the valleys. He's with us. Sometimes when you can't even walk, it's Him carrying us through a hard spot. Life's full of hard spots, but you don't give up because He's worthy.
Was I okay with Seth's death? No. Was it going to be okay? Yes, but only because of God. So God is faithful, absolutely faithful. There's no doubt in my mind. And because of that, He is absolutely worthy of our worship, of our praise. And I just can't imagine not having him to lean into.
Regardless of the spots you go through in life. And boy, some of them's tough. Some of them's just tough. There's a God that loves us, that's worthy of our praise and worship and honor and glory. And I hope people realize that. Is he a God that is worthy of praise and honor and glory? Absolutely he is.